And here's why I say this. Men, think about when you're discouraged, when you're down, when you're depressed. Okay, think about what it is you do. What do you resort to doing, healthy or unhealthy? Think about that for a second. Okay, what is it when you get frustrated in your relationship to women in your lives? What is it you tend to do? I guarantee you probably do what I've done, which is you go to something that's going to provide the affirmation that you're missing. It's going to be something that, whether first by communication and then by touch and other approaches, you're going to do something. You're going to resort to something. You're going to slip into a mode of need for something that has to do with affirmation through communication. I know it. I'm a man. What's been told to me by these men in the network is the very same thing. So men, I want to say to you, be healthy. Safeguard yourself in the absence of that kind of communication. In the absence of the communication you need. Safeguard yourselves, please hear me, from slipping into a mode where you are now making yourself open and vulnerable to things and to people and to practices that are going to be detrimental to your health and well-being, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, and to the detriment of the relationship that you're in with that woman in your life who is sensual. Please hear that. Women, help us in this respect, please. Okay? Now, let me just add the icing on the cake here to be able to share some things with you. When we do slip into different modes and mindsets that may not necessarily be the best for us. Let me ask you a question. Do you know why some men are serial cheaters? Listen, do you know why the whole strip club thing is now huge? I remember times growing up where men didn't talk about going to strip clubs. Now it's commonplace. And listen, I'm not here to judge that. It's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to make a point. Why is it that pornography will always be many men's best friend? Why? Why? Let me tell you why. Why? And I'm not judging the act or the actors. It's not why I'm here. It's not what I'm doing. I'm simply making a point. And the point is this. Do you know why we men go to those resources? Do you know why we men seek? Do you know what we're doing when we're in those situations? You know what we're doing? We're seeking affirmation. First, by communication, and then later on many different levels. Think about it. Think about it. Language and communication is key to men. There was an article that I read tonight to prepare for this, and the article basically said that it challenged men and women. They gave 5 circles to women and asked them to put those circles on a piece of paper and to put inside those circles the things that were important to them. And women did that. And they took a group of men and asked them to do the same thing. It's interesting. Watch this. Women put multiple things in the circles, and then they asked them to have those circles to overlap, so that kind of when there's a center with all the circles, where all the circles overlap, right? That little slither, if you've seen these things before, these charts and graphs. Women had multiple things in the overlapped section of all the circles. When they looked at the responses from men, do you know what we had? This will blow your mind. The response for all of the men in this particular study was that the central thing was just that, a single thing. It wasn't multiple. It was the woman in his life. Do you know what that means, women? And I know my statement is going to sound somewhat contradictory, but hear me. Do you realize how much you are worth, women? I mean, to us as men. Do you realize your value? I don't think you do. Do you know a man will do anything and everything to have a woman's affirmation? Do you realize that a man will do anything? Listen, I will be honest, and I've checked with the men in this circle of mine, the underground portion of When Men Speak, and they've given me the okay to tell you that there are men in this network. Listen, I'm telling you the honest to goodness truth. There are men in this network that have paid women of the evening. Guess why? Not for what you think. These men have labored to find these women, have gone into their wallets, have touched much needed savings, have disrupted family finances. And do you know why? They've done that to pay a woman of the evening just so she can listen to him. True story. I'm not making that up. Are men responsible for their respective actions? Absolutely. Am I making excuses for the poor decisions that we do? Nope, not at all. I'm just simply sharing, and perhaps what I'm sharing as a man to men may provide some liberty, some freedom, some release to some man out there that may not have connected these dots before. That's what I'm hoping happens. I'm hoping that these broadcasts, as simple as they are, I'm hoping that they will resonate with some man so he'll go, you know what? Tag on it. That dude Falk is on point. This is for men of all colors, ages, backgrounds. Doesn't matter. These are simple truths. These are truths that I've come to embrace. Listening to the men in the network, in their struggles, in their challenges, in their passions, in their pursuits, and especially in tears as they share with me quite often what mindset they've slipped into. What issues that they faced, what challenges they have to overcome. Some of the men have done some things that have destroyed their relationships with their respective significant others. Others have perhaps just scratched the surface to doing harm, and then still others are very new in the process and are just starting to stumble in the relationships that they're in. But nonetheless, it's not healthy for the man, and it ultimately is never healthy for the woman. Listen, there's so much more I can talk to you about, but I've already gone quite far enough. We'll definitely come back to these truths. Listen, how woke are you? How conscious are you as a man? How much do you know yourself? Listen, men, we tease women all the time, don't we? Be honest about what I'm about to say. Be honest with yourselves. We tease women all the time for being on their monthly cycles. Do you know you and I have cycles too? Yes, we do. Watch our patterns. Listen to what we say. Pay attention to the mindset that you're in from week to week and month to month. And you'll find our cycles are probably much more pronounced than women's are, if you're honest with yourself. So I'll leave you with this thought. Until next time. What would happen if men were to articulate these truths among themselves? Better yet, what would happen with men if they were to rethink their approach to the women in their lives and go back and be much more confident, much more woke, much more knowledgeable, much more sensitive, much more loving, much more caring, much more tender? What would happen when men speak?